The countdown to extinction of humanity. The end of who we are. As the system tries to forcibly merge us with their whole biotech system. The globalists are hunting us. The globalists see us as animals. The globalists could care less about life forms on this planet, releasing their GMO everywhere, crossing animals, plants, fish, just dumping toxic waste right in the water supply. More than half the fish in North America are now either sterile, semi-sterile, or have both sexual organs. The frogs, everything. Just from the runoff of what we're being fed. We're a tough species, but every generation is 20 years, average of 75 years of life. But we replicate on average about every 20 years. Within 3 generations in every rodent study, near total sterilization, 99+%. Deformities, post-natal deformities, which were thought to be impossible, like out of movies where you grow another arm. That's supposed to happen at the zygote level. Those decisions are made if you're going to be a mutation. Well, scientists were wrong again. Some of these guinea pigs have no hair on the outside of their body. The hair grows out of their intestines, out of their mouths. They have teeth inside their guts, little legs inside their stomachs, 2 hearts. They grow another brain. Should start growing a brain out the side of your ear. Oh, man, Bill Gates loves us so good. And his daddy, the head of Planned Parenthood, setting up back in the 60s with the Rockefeller Foundation, the special GMO crops. And now Billy Gates is running Monsanto. Oh, heaven help us. And they sit there with a straight face going, you're supposed to plant corn for the insects so they don't all die. All your farmers are doing is planting our corn you bought from us, and it's causing too many of the insects to die and too many of them to get an immunity to the poison. And it's just hidden in plain view. Those dirty farmers planting Monsanto aren't planting the refuge for the insects and wildlife. The refuge. Every corn species infected with Monsanto varieties now. So there's nowhere to run. And what are the Rockefellers and Bill Gates doing? Building giant armored seed vaults all over the world. In remote mountains and the North Pole. Look it up. Giant underground bunkers. They've now got animal arcs with all the human DNA, animal DNA, blue whale DNA. They're now building emergency arcs while they deploy the overwrite of the world. They've got backup armories, weapon systems, giant systems stored with food, bunkers everywhere, and then they've got TV shows all over the news demonizing those that prepare, demonizing those that have guns and food. And then now one of the guys on the Hoarder show, they wanted to do surgery on him, and he said, no, I don't want that. So he goes home. And they say, well, that's suicidal to refuse the tubes. The guy's fine now. So they come and take his guns. Because, well, you didn't do the medical procedure I said. That means you're suicidal. And the guy's like, no, I'm not suicidal. They go, well, you didn't do our procedure. That means you don't care about yourself. That they're now saying if they say take chemo and you don't, that's trying to commit suicide, even though the chemo is going to kill you in most cases. And so you get your guns taken because you elect to try to cure yourself. Oh, yeah, this is the new control freak system.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
I've been telling you about eFoods Direct for a while now. Here are my top 10 reasons to stock up on food from eFoods Direct. Number 10, the food I get from eFoods Direct tastes great. Number 9, the eFoods meals are easy to prepare. 8, eFoods Direct delivers the food right to my front door. 7, most of these meals cost less than $2. 6, with their large variety, I can eat it every day. 5, I always have access to high quality and delicious food. Number 4, eFoods products don't spoil, so I never waste any food. 3, eFoods uses only safe, healthy ingredients. Number 2, I have my own food supply and don't depend on the grocery store. And the number 1 reason I promote eFoods Direct is they build special offers just for my listeners. Folks, don't wait. Get prepared now. We all need to be self-sufficient. Call eFoods Direct at 800-409-5633 and ask for the Alex Jones special. Call eFoods Direct at 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, I haven't even gotten into the fact that they're hyping that Iran's going to launch terror attacks. Show the criminals that have hijacked our government for the foreign makes. They'll have to stick their hands down our pants more, set up more checkpoints, raise taxes, have more drones in the skies. I mean, they've got all the motive and the history of staging the terror attacks, running al-Qaeda publicly. And people are like, well, Alex, you're right. Our government does run al-Qaeda all over the world, but, you know, this is a few years later now, and don't say al-Qaeda was working for them on 9/11. Even though there's evidence, you're still not supposed to talk like that. Yeah, I'm supposed to have chump written across my forehead. I mean, I'm not a willful chump. I always thought of myself as just mediocre and average. Maybe there is something wrong with me, that I'm aggressive and don't like being a slave and don't like people openly saying they're going to modify food to covertly reduce my health, lower my fertility, and give me cancer, and watch them prance around laughing about it. And I try to tell bureaucrats and people when I run into them, they don't care. They feel like they're part of the structure, and they just laugh at me. They're being killed by it too, but it's still funny. I mean, look at this Washington Post article. You'd think they were talking about how the farmers are bad here. And then, oh, yeah, you know, they need to have a refuge so the bugs don't die eating this stuff. And then it goes on to admit the seed companies are surveilling their farmers. See, now farming is about being surveilled like you're a criminal. Seed companies use sales data to identify farmers who may not have purchased enough seed for a refuge. Oh, yeah, we have to be here buying our GMO seed that kills the bugs, but humans are going to eat it. Now, you got to have that other seed for the buggies. And oh, we're surveilling you, and you didn't have a refuge of the stuff that doesn't kill the bugs. Can I have the stuff the bugs are getting? Oh, I'm an extremist. And I said Washington Post. This is in the Washington Post. It's actually from Bloomberg. So many of these news agencies now, it's all mixed together. Seed companies use sales data to identify farmers who may not have purchased enough seed for refuge, said Nick Storer, global science policy leader for Dow Chemical Co., another maker of modified seeds. The whole purpose of doing that was to try to increase the frequency with which we identify non-compliant growers, Storer said in an interview. Farmers who violate the requirements are now revisited at least twice over 5 years. Oh, you get EPA visits because the government pushes and stuff that's like a bioweapon on you, not food. And because it's so deadly to the environment, you've got to have emergency refuge for the other buggies. See, because this is for you, not for them. This is for you, not for them. Farmers who violate the requirements are now revisited at least twice over 5 years. Joan Carden of Monsanto said in an interview, farmers who fail to follow up inspection lost access to technology, she said. Oh, we lose access to your technology that infects all the other species around it. Oh, yes, we now know that animals are breathing the GMO pollen, and it's going into the DNA. The major studies out on that. It's jumping into other plant species, and it's jumping into the same family to an even greater extent. Maize, soybean, corn, sugar beet, whatever the case is. And I just watch the cancer rates and all the other diseases accelerate as they put poison in our water and food. And it's just trendy. It's just so trendy to die like this. It's trendy when people today are, folks are listening to the show laughing today, I guarantee you, who are 45, 50 years old, driving in their car. And in 6 months, they'll go into the doctor and they'll say you got a golf ball-sized tumor on your liver. And they'll go get it chopped out, and they'll be dead. And, they'll be dead a few months later. And they'll even, as they die, they'll be sitting there in their bed going, trendy, trendy, it's fun to die. I love the government, more fluoride, more GMO. Just trusting them and just loving it. They love death. They love failure. They love being scum. They love being killed by the globalists. And so the globalists are like, we will kill you. We want to, believe me. You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join prisonplanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear.